You may have dreamed of stepping foot in Paris, the romantic city filled with light and art, where the Eiffel Tower sparkles under the sunset. Small cafes line the streets, and the sound of violins gently fills every corner. But what if the Paris of your dreams isn't the Paris of reality? As soon as you step off the train, you're hit by the strong smell of urine in the old city streets. Your wallet disappears after a slight bump, and the gaze of Parisians is colder than the autumn air. And no, you didn't hear wrong. This is a real phenomenon known as Paris syndrome, a cultural shock. A delicate disillusionment right in the city once praised as the most beautiful in the world. Let's explore why Paris leaves. So many people walking away with an empty heart. There's a sweet dream that millions of people around the world have once had, the dream of Paris. Known as the City of Light, a symbol of romance, nobility, and refinement, it's a place where people think that all it takes is a round-trip ticket to touch the hands of a fairy tale paradise. But what if that paradise isn't as dazzling as we imagined? Paris syndrome, a psychological phenomenon, has become a reality for many travelers. Those who come to France with expectations and dreams leave disappointed, feeling confused. Paris is not like the movies, not like the sweet poetry. Why does a city as magnificent as Paris disappoint people so much? Why do beautiful dreams quickly get shattered by harsh reality? Let's take a look at travelers' experiences and uncover the mystery behind this strange phenomenon. When the plane lands at Charles de Gaulle Airport and the first step touches the soil of Paris, many feel emotional. They think they are stepping into a romantic love story, but just a few steps later, a strong stench of urine and foul odors hits the nose. It's not the fragrance of French perfume, nor the aromatic smell of coffee on the street, but the stench of urine near the walls of the old town. You may have never been warned about this. Paris is not only a city of light, love, and music. It's also a place where the darker side of life is laid bare. Dog feces scattered on the sidewalks, old steps turned into public toilets for the homeless. You heard that right. Paris, a place that once made you dream of oil paintings and romantic violin music, has now turned into a survival experience, not for the faint-hearted. And the subway, once considered a symbol of modern civilization, is now a place that terrifies visitors. The suffocating air, the smell of dampness and urine at the train stations, makes you feel like you're in a decaying city, not the heart of France. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. The things that travel magazines deliberately avoid, the images that movies skillfully blur. Can you imagine it? One of the richest historical cities in the world, once at the top of tourist rankings, now a place that forces thousands to turn to psychologists after their trip. Not because Paris is too ugly, but because Paris is not like what people imagined. You're leisurely strolling around the Montmartre area, famous for its street art and meticulously painted murals. Suddenly, a young girl approaches, holding a map, her eyes lost as if she just lost her way. You stop, politely ask if she needs help because, after all, tourism is about helping each other, right? You think this is Paris, not some slum. But as you turn your back, eyes focused on the map, your wallet, phone, and even your passport are gone. This is not a fictional story, but a harsh reality that thousands of travelers experience every year. In Paris, theft is not just a social issue, it has become a part of street culture. The scams are so well orchestrated that you only realize when it's too late, exclaiming, "Oh my God, that's professional." Street gangs operate like mafia. One person distracts, another strikes, and a third quietly moves the item. By the time you realize, all traces have vanished as if they never existed. What's even sadder is that the culprits are often not native Parisians, but immigrants from Africa and the Middle East, living hidden in slums or even underground in Paris. Places you think are just for trains to pass by are actually the home to an entirely different world. Paris was once a symbol of power, art, and knowledge. But today, it also exposes the deep cracks of modern society. The unchecked immigration situation has created a patchwork of different lifestyles. You might see a woman in Chanel stepping out of a taxi right next to a disheveled man shouting aimlessly in the street. This is Paris, where reality and expectations collide, creating conflict. A place where you'll love dearly in the morning, but just a few hours later, feel exhausted. Even if you're lucky enough to avoid theft and scams on the streets, there's another challenge ahead: the cost of living in Paris. And trust me, it's not for the faint of heart or fragile wallets. In Paris, renting a small apartment feels like entering a very competitive selection process. You need to prove that you have a stable income, a financial guarantor, and even show that you deserve to rent a place. Landlords here don't care where you're from, how polite you are, or how badly you need a place to stay. They prefer wealthy students, young couples with stable jobs, and say no to recent graduates just starting out. Because for them, Paris isn't just a place to live, it's an underground competition for social class. The cost of seemingly simple things like air conditioning, fruits, or even bottled water will make you hesitate over every euro, apart from a few types of cheap bread and wine in supermarkets. Everything in Paris is surprisingly expensive. At bars, if you want to drink beer all night at a reasonable price, you need to catch the happy hour and squeeze into a small space where you can hear the breath of the person next to you. Moreover, the public transportation system, which is the pride of many developed countries, will leave many people stunned. The subway is packed, the strange smell of urine lingers in the air, and pushing and shoving is like a daily battle. If you think the French are always polite and gentle, try riding the metro at 6 p.m., and you'll see a cold, hurried Paris where no one cares about anyone else, even rude enough to leave you stunned. There's no offer of a seat, no apologies. No waiting, each person lives their life their own way. And if you think Paris is full of street food stalls and violinists passionately performing, don't be surprised if you see a drunk man lying by the river, clutching a bottle of wine and muttering incomprehensible phrases. Because Paris is not just the city of love and light, it's also the city of surprises, cultural shocks, and experiences that you'll never forget. Whether you want to or not, you've probably heard of Cody, who once came to Paris to experience true romance. However, no one probably told you that the dream of Paris sometimes turns into a nightmare. A study by Rodico Story, gathering reviews from 140,000 global travelers, revealed a truth that startled many. Paris, the city that millions of dreaming hearts once cherished through art, cinema, and music, now tops the list of the most disappointing destinations on the planet. This city is not only a symbol of light and love, but also a place that has been excessively romanticized. Many come here with the dream of sitting by the balcony, sipping espresso, gazing at the sparkling Eiffel Tower under the sunset, and hearing the soft music of France in the distance. But the reality is long queues waiting for check-in, getting pickpocketed at the subway station, and ending up with a ridiculously expensive coffee bill. All of this happens in a city filled with the smell of urine and overflowing trash. Worse, many tourists from Asia, especially Japan and South Korea, were so shocked that they had to be hospitalized, suffering from symptoms like dizziness, vertigo, depression, and even hallucinations. They came with high expectations, only to leave with broken hearts. This phenomenon is known as Paris syndrome, a real psychological condition with symptoms of anxiety, disorientation, confusion, and deep disappointment. Paris syndrome is not just an individual issue. It also reflects the disillusionment of a global cultural symbol. Paris is not just a destination, but also the embodiment of France itself, the expectation of an elegant, charming, and poetic world. And when these expectations are not met, the disappointment is even greater. What's noteworthy is that Paris is not the only city that is overhyped. According to Rodico Story, cities like Hong Kong, Seoul, Bangkok, and Singapore are also on the list of disappointing destinations. However, Paris remains the leader in disillusionment. On the other hand, cities like Stockholm, Cape Town, Amsterdam, and Kuala Lumpur, despite not being heavily promoted and not appearing in blockbuster movies, surprise visitors with their pleasantness, cleanliness, and friendliness. Perhaps because these cities are not overhyped, they win over the hearts of travelers. Meanwhile, Paris, with its perfect and ideal image, set an expectation so high that it's impossible to achieve. So, what do you think? Have you ever been to Paris? Was your experience like the praise in the movies? Or did you have to face a hard reality like many other tourists? If this video has given you a deeper insight into France, don't forget to follow the channel for more interesting cultural stories. Comment below if you've had a similar experience and share this video with anyone preparing to pack their bags for Paris. See you next time in the next journey to uncover the mysteries of why